What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. This is looking ahead. There were some crazy changes that just came through today on Monk, on a bunch of things. We're going to cover just the Monk class tree in this video, okay? Because there's been a massive amount of changes here. And I'm gonna do other videos on the War Within hero talents and stuff as well. Let's just do the class tree for now, okay? There's something in my eyeball. It's gonna destroy my sight. Okay. So the beginning, this is the new tree on the left. This is the old tree on the right. Okay, just so you understand. The old tree had Rising Sun Kick and Tiger Lust. This is the first change. Tiger Lust is now moving down here, and Paralysis is going into the top. And then they've kind of shuffled things down. There's a new talent node right here, Crashing Momentum and Disable. So Disable, of course, is the same as it used to be. Crashing Momentum, targets that you roll through are snared for 40%. That feels mostly like a PvP thing. I don't think you're going to get too much use out of that in PvE, but it's kind of neat to have it there. There is a huge theme of snaring or being immune to snares or that kind of stuff in the new tree. And this entire tree has been like completely reworked. So let's just keep working our way through it. We have a new talent here called Wind's Reach. The range of Disable goes up by 5 yards. And then the duration of Crashing Momentum is increased. And the snare is now 60% snare instead of 40. So actually, like, pretty significant. And from a Mistweaver's perspective, because this tree obviously is for all three, but for a Mistweaver, you could roll through Spitefuls and like slow them down by 60%, which is actually kind of a massive deal for other melee people trying to avoid getting killed. So there's actually some PvE utility here, but it is primarily, I would say, a PvP thing. Now, Spearhand Strike has moved up 1 row. It used to be down here, and now it's up 1 row to here, and it's more central, which is actually really nice. Improved Detox is over here. We've got Reduce All Damage Taken. That's still there. Bounding Agility has now changed. That was up here before. That was Improved Roll. Bounding Agility is here now. So Roll and Chi Torpedo have a travel a small distance further. So we're not entirely sure how far that's going to be. We'll just have to see. Chi Torpedo already goes pretty far, and I kind of like the distance that Roll goes right now. So I'm not sure if I'm going to actually love that. Jade Walk, this is new. Out of combat, you get 15% more movement speed. That's always nice. You've got your Grace of the Crane. This is a 1-point talent now. 4% less 4% more healing taken. Used to be a 2-point talent. So there is a big theme here. There's a lot of talents that got way more efficient. Okay. For example, the 2-point talents. There's things like Fast Feet. This used to be a 2-point talent. It's now a 1-point talent, increasing Rising Sun Kicks damage. It also used to be way down at the bottom here. Okay. Now it's up here. You've got Fatal Touch, which is way at the bottom now. That's a 1-point talent. Used to be a 2-point talent. Used to be right there. And it only used to reduce the cooldown by 90 seconds. Now it reduces the cooldown of Touch of Death and gives you 5% more damage, which is really cool, for 30 seconds after it being cast. Like, so you basically have 5% more damage for a long time, right? Because you can Touch of Death every minute and a half. Then you get 30 seconds of a damage amp. So kind of cool. Very, very good for all 3 specs for sure. What else? Resonant Fist is here. It got moved, and it's only a 1-point talent now. So it used to be a 2-point talent, and it might have been 30. Was it 30%? Let's just get down there really quick. I think it's 30%, right? Let me get down here. Just take this and that, all these choice nodes. And there we go. We're getting down there. So it was, no, just 15%. It was 7 and 15. So there you go. Now it's much more efficient. It's literally 15% for 1 point, which is really crazy. And it's moved up, and it's a little bit more central now. We'll talk about that in a minute because it is blocked behind Transcendence. Bounce Back is also a 1-point talent now. It used to be a 2-point talent. It's nerfed slightly because it's 1-point talent. So when you get hit, when a hit deals more than 12% of your maximum health, reduce all damage taken by 20%. It used to be when a hit deals more than 20% of your maximum health. So it still gives you the same DR, but it doesn't kick in. Actually, no, it kicks in earlier. Never mind. I'm reading that wrong. When a hit deals more than 20% of your maximum health. Now it's when a hit deals more than 12%. So it's literally just a straight up buff. A huge, huge buff, actually. You still get the same DR, but it kicks in earlier when you take even less damage you did before. Tiger Tail Sweep, which is right here, increases the range of leg sweep by 4 yards. This used to increase the range of leg sweep by 2 yards, and where is it on here? But I think it was a 2-point talent. It's over here. There you go. Increases the range of leg sweep by 2 yards and reduces its cooldown by 10 seconds. So it used to be 4 yards for 2 talents. Now it's 4 yards for 1 talent. Now the cooldown reduction on Tiger Tail Sweep goes up here on Ancient Art. So this reduces the cooldown of leg sweep by 10 seconds, and it used to do the same thing in Tiger Tail Sweep. So they did divide up that a little bit, but if you just want to pick the extra yard, the extra range there on the 4 yards, you can get it for 1 talent point, which is really good. That one's very, very nice. There's a new buff to paralysis right here called Pressure Points. Paralysis now removes enrage effects. This is pretty crazy, right? Hunters can do this. I believe, can mages do it with enrage? I'm not even sure, actually. I know hunters can do it for sure. And there's probably 1 or 2 other specs can do it, but this is a pretty niche. This is a really niche effect in the game. Druids can do it, right? Druids and hunters, I think they're the only 2 that can do it. So now you have paralysis for monks. They can do it now as well. All 3 specs. So like a Windwalker monk could have pretty big value there in a Mythic Plus environment if there's an enrage effect to get rid of, which is very, very nice. That is super cool. Ancient Arts. Where is that there? Oh, yeah, this is it. I was talking about this is the cooldown. I'm going through my notes here. This is already there. Now, Transcendence in the middle here. Transcendence is blocking Resonant Fist, which I'm not really happy with. This is literally the only way to get to this talent. I don't really play a whole lot with Transcendence. I know I should as a monk, but it's nice to have the option not to, because there's already so many buttons, man. There's so many freaking buttons on my bar. I literally don't have enough buttons to put Transcendence on there. So I'm a little miffed that Resonant Fist is going to be here. But it is what it is. It's only a 1-point talent, as I said before, so it's way more efficient. This is a pretty crazy change. Chi Burst got massively buffed, okay? This does way, way more damage. So let's look at this here. Is this? Yeah, this is the tree. Here we go. The Chi Burst changes right here. Chi Burst increases the damage increase by 160% and the healing up by 53%. It is now a formidable spell. Like, it used to just be a spell that you would fire out as a Mistweaver monk to do a decent amount of healing. It might be 2% of your healing by the end of like a raid. And it did a little bit. It did damage in Mythic Plus, so it was kind of nice. Now it does tons of damage and tons of healing, so it's absolutely worth taking. Chi Wave also got reworked. For 15 seconds, every 15 seconds, sorry, your next Rising Sun Kick or Vivify releases a wave of Chi energy that flows. So I feel like your uptime on Chi Wave is going to be a lot higher, and this removes the button bloat. So again, if you were trying to fit in different buttons like Transcendence, you can get rid of a button by taking Chi Wave and just having it go off passively. I kind of love that, actually. So we'll see how good that ends up being. I think the numbers on Chi Burst are like way too strong. It's probably going to be the go-to choice. I mean, I think it's always going to be the go-to choice for Windwalker Monk because it gives you Chi, but for everybody else, the numbers are just way too high now. So pretty crazy. This is pretty cool. Underneath Spearhand Strike, you now have energy transfer. Successfully interrupting an enemy reduces the cooldown of paralysis and roll by 5 seconds. So this is nice. They're finally including monk in the specs that get a bonus for kicking. So like Demon Hunter kind of started this whole trend, right? Giving you, I think, Fury back, and then Paladin now has a kick where it'll automatically cast like a Crusader Strike or whatever, depends what spec you're in. When you interrupt something, there are just, different specs now that are getting resources or getting something back when they successfully interrupt an enemy, and this is really cool. So this one's now going to give you cooldown reduction on roll and paralysis, which is kind of neat. Paralysis is, of course, super, super good on afflicted weeks. You can just deal with them pretty easily. So that is really nice. Bottom section of the tree has had some pretty big changes. So they've moved the Fort Brew stuff into the middle. It still has the same talents are here that you could have chosen before, but it's not on the right-hand side anymore. You've got Dance with Wind here. This doesn't share this is not a choice known with Dampen Harm anymore. Dampen Harm has been removed and given to Brewmaster exclusively. So that is a defensive button that we have lost as a Mistweaver or a Windwalker. So take that whenever, you could probably take Fort Brew if you want to now, but it's much, much less significant than Dampen Harm was. So That's a buff for Brewmaster Monk because they now get the dodge chance thing and dampen harm. Huge buff for them, but a nerf, I would say, for the other two specs. You still have the other side with Diffuse Magic or Yu'lon's Grace, whichever you want to choose. There's a talent here that buffs Ring of Peace and Song of Chi-Ji in 2 different ways. Not really super significant. Now, Summon Jade Serpent statue is kind of in the middle of the tree. It's kind of hogging the whole middle of the tree, and I'm not super happy with this. Also, the only way to get to Fort Brew now, if you wanted to get it instead of Dampen Harm, would be to go through a Spirit Essence, which makes the Transcendence transfer snare enemies, which is, again, kind of a PvP thing. But you could obviously go Transcendence into Ring of Peace and then get to Fort Brew that way. That's another good way to do it. But again, Summon Jade Serpent statue is kind of in the middle here, and it's hogging some of this room, in my opinion. It's a little bit weird. Because, like, you can't get Windwalking unless you take Summon Jade Serpent statue. So, like, a Windwalker monk trying to buff their team with Windwalking is never going to take this. So, it's a little weird to me that this Jade Serpent statue is in the middle like this. I don't really love it. I feel like a more generic talent like this choice node would have been better to go here in the middle, because you're always going to take this choice node, Diffuse Magic, and then put it here, and then you can have Windwalking so that Windwalkers can get access to this. I don't think a Windwalker is ever going to take Windwalking now, because Summon Jade Serpent statue is in the way. You're not going to want to take that. So, some interesting choices there. Transcendence Transfer can immediately heal you for 15% of your maximum health. This is nice. This is kind of replacing the weird talent that, right here, Escape from Reality, which had you, like, vivifying yourself after you did the Transcendence transfer. It's kind of weird. So now you just get a free heal immediately after transferring, which is cool. Roll will now remove snare effects, so very similar to, like, Fade for Priest. And lots of classes can do this now, but this is interesting. You have Tiger Lust, which also, of course, removes all roots and snares, and then your Roll will now do it. So now your Tiger Lust could be used more effectively on other allies, and then you could just roll out of your own snare. So on Entangling Week, for example, you could give Tiger Lust to another person, and you can roll. That might be an interesting option now for you. Expel Harm healing bonuses are here. Save Them All is over here. It's the same, but again, it's a 1-point talent now instead of being 2. I believe it was 2 before. Yeah, it was. So Save Them All is here. Again, more snare stuff. I talked about at the beginning. The duration of all snare effects on you are reduced by 20%. That feels almost like pure PvP, but in PvE, I mean, this tree is going to make Monk like the speediest character in the entire game, I think. It's pretty fast, so that's interesting. And then let's get down to the bottom here. The capstones have all changed. No longer do we simply have the statues being the capstones. They've removed the Brewmaster statue. The Blackhawk statue is gone. The Jade Serpent statue is still here, but the White Tiger statue is gone. So Blackhawk statue is in the Brewmaster baseline, and White Tiger statue is Windwalker baseline, and then the Jade statue is still here. I don't know why they didn't make the Jade statue baseline for Mistweaver, because they made the other two that way, and then they put the friggin' Jade Serpent statue in the middle here. Again, very weird decision to me, but anyway, here's their new capstone totems, their capstone nodes. Lighter than air is kind of wild. Roll causes you to become lighter than air, allowing you to double jump to dash forward a short distance. So we're Demon Hunters now. Interesting. Kind of cool. You've got Flow of Chi. You gain a bonus based on your current health. When you're above 90% health, you get movement speed. Okay, again, super fast class. When you're between 90% and 35%, damage taken reduced, and then below 35%, healing received increased. I don't know that you're ever going to take this. It's just not that significant of a bonus. Maybe in Raid or something, as a Brewmaster, you might want this, because you're between 90 and 35%, you get 5% more DR. I could see a Brewmaster taking this maybe, but I don't know about the other two specs. Escape from Reality is still here, sorry. It's changed a bit though, right? When you use Transcendence Transfer, you can use it again after 10 seconds, but you don't get the heal anymore. Because, again, you're getting this free heal right here instead of the Vivify spamming thing. And then you have a new Transcendence talents, Linked Spirits. Transcendence now tethers you to your spirit onto an ally for an hour. Using Transcendence teleports you to the ally's location. I like this a lot, actually. You could also see this being cheesed severely. You know some of the M+, you ever seen some of the Mythic Plus, like, the crazy teams where there's like a rogue who like trickses the tank and then runs to like a different part of the dungeon and pulls half the dungeon and then like vanishes, and all the mobs will tricks onto the tank. You ever seen that kind of stuff? This feels like you could do something similar, where you, like a Windwalker or something, like runs to half the dungeon and pulls it, and then transcendences back to their group. I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting to see the shenanigans you could pull with this. Bounce back, 1 point talent, did that. Martial Instincts increases your physical damage done by 4% and avoidance by 4%. This is really significant. This Ferocity of Zuen used to increase all damage dealt by 4%. So this thing increases your physical damage dealt by 4%. So not all damage. So like a lot of the fire damage from Brewmaster is going to be missing from this point. I don't know if the Brewmaster tree is changing yet. We'll have to see if it accommodates for that. But they're squishing 2 talents together. You're getting avoidance and physical damage, which is basically good for Windwalker, and it's good for Mistweaver. So definitely a buff, but maybe a bit of a nerf for Brewmaster. You've got Fatal Touch down here. Once again, that's a capstone now instead of being right here. And then you've got this choice node. Rushing reflexes. Your heightened reflexes allow you to react swiftly to the presence of enemies, causing you to quickly lunge to the nearest enemy in front of you within 10 yards after you roll. That feels like a pure PvP thing to me. Maybe for maintaining melee uptime as a Windwalker monk or something, that could be kind of good. I don't know. Maybe as a Brewmaster monk, it'll allow you to like get to the next pack more quickly. You roll and then zip, you teleport to the next pack, and then you start hitting them. It's a little bit strange to me. I don't think as Mistweaver you're necessarily going to use this at all. We'll have to see. Maybe it's something. And then you have Clash. You and the target charge each other, meeting halfway, and then rooting all targets. That feels like a very Brewmaster thing. I think it used to be on the Brewmaster tree, and now we've got it in the class tree. So there you go, guys. That is the class tree rundown. It is entirely different. It really is a complete rework to the monk class tree. There are some massive buffs, things like getting paralysis, removing enrage, Chi Burst having massive amounts of damage and healing now, and then a lot of talents becoming 1 point talents, right? Fatal Touch, Resonant Fist. This thing got way more efficient. It got way more powerful. There's a couple of weird blips here and there, like I think Jade Serpent statue being in the middle here is very strange for Windwalker and Brewmaster. Otherwise, I think the talents are quite good, actually, and it's a massive bonus that's going to be great for Windwalker in the War Within. In the War Within, Windwalker, not Windwalker, sorry, monks in general are going to be like the fastest class, I would say by far, with crazy amounts of like snare immunity and lots of rolls, double jumping, lots of really fun stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. The War Within is, it's basically just a couple of months away at this point, guys, maybe 3 or 4 months away. What is it? No, it's April, May, June, July. Yeah, it's been 3 or 4 months away. So they're getting this stuff out early. They're letting us take a look at it, and I think these changes for Monk at least are amazing. They're definitely going in the right direction. So let me know what you guys think in those comments down below. Love y'all. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of War Within videos over the next week or so, so stay tuned for those, okay? I'll catch y'all in the next one.